the Living Theatre, the next generation of Martha Graham.
Yeah.
It was a complete,
Cunningham.
Cunningham and Caroline Brown. It was the younger generation, and they were completely free. They danced with a single chair, a person, a chair, and the dance with a chair and a woman. Who did this?
Not me.
Grisha did it.
No. Who did that?
One of you.
Steve Paxton.
No, it was a woman. It doesn't matter.
No,
it doesn't matter.
Oh,
Steve Paxton became the lover of Bob
David Gordon did it.
Yeah. And all these young people, they were just unbelievable. And it was all in New York, and it happened very often in the churches. The churches gave us this. Judson Church gave us the space. You remember Bob Morris carrying the grey boards, and when everything was carried away, there was naked Carolee Schneemann decorated as Manet breakfast in the green.
No, it was
Manet the guy.
It was Manet's Olympia.
No, Monet, the breakfast in the garden. The men were dressed. It was a landscape, and she.
No, but the woman
was lying naked. Her only dress was.
With the black Olympia. Yeah.
It is Manet.
Yeah.
Manet. And that was in the Judson Church. That was great. Yvonne, that's great to see. Yeah. I was wondering, how does Carolee Schneemann look like? How does Yvonne Rainer look like?
Is Carolee here today? I heard she's
I just saw her. Yes, she's here. I just saw her back in the show.
She was here?
Yes, she's here.
Can somebody show me how she looked?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have recognized you.
I know.
Would you have recognized me? No, we were different.
Some people don't change.
No, I mean, we look differently then. It helped. At that time, it helped. We were very beautiful. Don't forget. You forget when you get old. I'm saying Okay. That's Carolee Schneemann. Hello.
Who's she?
Our female hero.
Carolee Schneemann.
Careful, my head.
Oh, you fell.
Yeah, I fell. Yeah.
On your
Yeah, backwards. Yeah, I was in the hospital for 3 hours in triage here. That was surrealist last night. Yeah.
Carolee Schneemann, I tell you everything about her.
Yeah.
She was the Olympia of Manet in the church. Never forget that.
So great to see you. Her beautiful work, the transparent glass pieces at the Dawn Gallery, unforgettable. So beautiful.
This is my gallery. Christel.
She mentioned yes, sure. Many times. Yeah. How are you doing?
This is early 60s New Yorkers. Yes.
Yeah.
The New York girls. And she was one of the real Fluxus people.
Okay.
I mean, if you call Fluxus what later happened.
Maybe.
Macunas never let us enter the movement.
We could not enter.
We were not enter. We didn't enter the movement because Macunas was pretty arrogant.
Carolee was the first one to use menstrual blood as a medium.
Yeah.
Okay, Yvonne.
Yes.
Now I'm about to use head blood. I bled all over part of the walkway
Were
there.
you bleeding?
Oh yeah, that's when they get excited when they see blood.
There were some great women. There were some great women already in the 60s.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. And we persisted.
And the many which are here, which are not even exhibited, like Liebonderkür isn't here.
Right. Yes.
So Grisha isn't here.
Yeah.
Then there was Marisol.
Oh, right.
These great,
Yes.
there's so many great women from the 60s.
Yeah.
They're not even in the show.
Well, there's so many of us, it turns out, and so she concentrated on the feminist position.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why. No.
So, are you in your wonderful old country house? Are you in your farm?
Yeah. I raised my 4 children. So to speak, now I'm free again. So.
Yeah. Well, I have to be not free and see what
me
they
too.
want me to do. Are you
Yeah.
talking?
Yes, me too.
Okay, great. That's wonderful.
I wanted to surprise you.
I'm just meeting for the first time Mary Bauermeister, whose work is here, who's become I don't even know her, but she's my new queen. I so love this work.
Shall I say something?
Please do. Please do. That would be such a treat.
Answer your question. This is female art, but not feminist art, but which was used later for the feminists. I was always put on the flag of the feminists. Because I have 4 children from 3 fathers. I fed them myself. I always leave the geniuses of artists' fathers when the marriage was over. So I was always on the flag of the feminists, but I'm not a feminist. I love men, but I also love women. So, but it was the early 60s.
Our mothers were the strong generation after war. I come from Germany. Our fathers came home, if they came home from war, they came home as a broken generation, disillusioned. They had fought for an ideal which was crazy, which we found out after the war when the concentration camp photographs were shown. We had no idea. Our fathers had no idea what they were fighting for. So our fathers, our men, were a broken generation. Our women, our mothers were alone, building up the cities, getting the stones scraped away from the cement, building up everything, getting the food. From my 10th to my 14th year of my life, I was only scraping garbage cans of American soldiers for fish bones or for carrot or whatever left or was in my mother made soups. So our mothers were very, very strong, and we had no minority complexes as women growing out of that. But we had something else. We didn't believe in anything after the war anymore because we were disillusioned. The enemy, we were 5 years in the bombing shelters, and then the enemy walks in. American soldiers, black guy, laughing and throwing candies at us. So as a child, your whole illusion breaks down. This is the enemy, he throws candies at you, then they said, oh, they are poisoned. Then we had to find out if they were really poisoned. They weren't poisoned, so I was the one who had to test them. It was a very risky thing. But then But then we didn't tell the other kids that they were not poisoned. So it was survival. And every bit of material meant something. Every patch, every shoe, we had 2 different shoes. And everything meant something. So in this kind of spirit, I was growing up. Now our schooling was Bauhaus, abstract art. And that again was something which didn't fit so much what I felt. Because I discovered so many beautiful things in nature or in crafts or whatever, that I just left every art school after 2 months. I stayed maximum 1 year. I left all art schools and said, I want to learn techniques and to express what I feel. With all that childhood, this richness of horrible memories made me strong. Everything afterwards was beautiful. I am not raging against everything because there's no war. I can drink the water. We have food. It's wonderful, the time. I would never rage or use any energy fighting against something. I was always fighting for something. So after the war, then when we grew up, I was fighting for the communication between artists. I had a great studio where musicians and writers and all of them met. I introduced the American school, John Cage, Merce Cunningham, and all of the American artists into my studio in Cologne, and we did the most greatest concerts and happenings there. It was a pre-Fluxus time, and that was our revolution, to bring the arts together and to share each other, because nobody else understood us anyway. It was the artists who understood the artists. But in my artwork, I did artwork like this patchwork over there, I was not accepted as an artist, because this was no art, this was female work. Oh, it's female, it's needlework. If you use material at that time, you're just not an artist, you belong to the knitting department. And as I was always into music and into painting, a music critic brought my first score, which I had written in a composition course, where I had translated the parameters of musical composition into art. So there's a whole concept art of how to translate this. I have a crazy mind. I can hear sounds or smell of colors. Everything is confused up there. Too long? Okay, finished. This piece here is called Needless Needles. It's a word game.
It's made from old linen cloths, which Sicilian farmer women since centuries repair. They were so poor that they wouldn't throw any bit of material away, so they patched it together. So can you imagine what these bed sheets lived through? Now when I got these bed sheets, this I made in a hotel room, 1963, where I was hidden away as the second wife of my first husband's first wife. We lived in a ménage à trois. But society only accepted us when we appeared all three together. My husband was a genius composer, and I appeared earlier. His wife had arrived, so I had been hidden in the hotel room. And 1 week I was on a fast and on water, hidden in the hotel room until the first wife appeared. I could appear with her and the husband. So this is all feminist themes. But I was not a feminist. I was just a female in a ménage à trois. I don't believe there is a happy ménage à trois. What you can it doesn't work. But we tried hard and we believed in it. We even escaped to America to be away from German society, but in America the same happened. It doesn't work. What you can reach is a common dignified times of suffering together. And that is already much. That's already much. No? So all this is written into this piece. Let's see, there's here a little window. In school we had needlework. At that time, this was not conceived as art. We said, oh, this is female work. It's needlework. It's nothing. It's female matter, material. 30 years later, when men started to make works with cloth, they called it the new sensitivity. So now I'm justified. Now it's being judged in the context of art because men do it too. As a female, you cannot work with cloth without being put into the needlework department. On the backside. I could do a doctorate thesis about this little piece. Or here, a real thread enters through a painted needle. The pattern of needlework shows a painted shadow. So it's all about reality and illusion. It's all in very small details, but if you put this big like this, and it's, oh, this is art. But little one like this is needlework, it's female work. These needles here, I added, this work was exhibited in the Bonino Gallery in New York in '63. And as I didn't step on anybody's foot, the artist loved me. Oh, there she comes, Mary, with completely new work. Leo Castelli loved this work because it was just ready trouvé. Duchamp had the expression ready-made. He put industrial objects on a pedestal and called it art. So I put things I found and which I found beautiful, I put on the wall. So there are lots of things untouched. Here I did a lot. But there are other pieces where I have just hung a cloth, a shirt or trousers with a lamp in it. It looks just beautiful, the patterns, and nothing touched, only ready trouvé. And I bought them in this little village where I saw them hanging on the washing lines with the sunshine coming through, and I saw this incredible beauty, and I bought from them a bed sheet. I gave them a new bed sheet and 1,000 lire. And they called me the Donna Pazza. She gives us a new sheet, and she pays 1,000 lire, and she gets our old clothes. And then they brought me all their old clothes, underpants for men, sack like a potato sack, lots of patterns, absolutely beautiful. And I used them in theater pieces, and I used them in performances, and it all has to do, of course, with feminist themes, but it was not typical feminist. It was pre-feminist. It's the '63. We hadn't yet feminism. That happened in New York in the 70s. At that time I was at home breeding children. I was back in the German forest, but I owe America my success as an artist, because my first exhibition was, actually you have to have a whole show to the thing. It's too much, no?
No, it's not. No,
it's not too much. My first exhibition in Amsterdam in the Stedelijk Museum, not through artists, but through music critic, because I had learned from my later husband, who was a composer, the technique of composing in parameters, which is for scores and music typical. You don't think you don't have a picture in front of you and paint it out of your belly. Musicians, they construct. There's pitch, there's melody, there's rhythm, there's frequencies, and they put it all together, and then there comes out an incredible construction which you couldn't imagine audible. And this kind of technique I superposed into painting, and I made a composition for artists, for visual artists, which was done the same, parameter, pitch, frame, space, all of that. And this score was given to the museum director of Amsterdam, who said, this is genius. Huh? So he gave me the first show, not my artist's galleries. I never had a gallery show. I had never anything. I carried my pictures under my arms and sold them to feed my other artists in the house. We had a lot of musicians and we did a lot of music. So I had my first exhibition in Amsterdam. The Germans had so much minority complexes after the last war that they would never accept anything revolutionary out of their own rows. They were only Bauhaus, and everything had to be black, white, and red, and they were completely unsecure. A lost war, we lost our identity. Now we were young, we were part of the children's and the war generation. We had nothing to do with their problems, so we were revolutionaries. But nobody accepted the young German art, unless it was accepted in America and was re-imported to Germany. So in Amsterdam there was a little show at the same time, American art. There was the Goat of Rauschenberg. Unbelievable piece of art. Unbelievable. I said, well, this is called art, I have to be. So I went to the director, I said, please buy a picture, I have to be there where this is called art, because I would know I would be there with open arm accepted. And that happened. He bought a picture, I got my ticket, I went to America, and I was welcomed with open arms in America, because the Americans don't have the problem that they constantly compare their pieces with the masters. The Americans are very innocent. They judge the creativity of a young artist. We in Europe, there's Leonardo, and there are all these incredible masters, and you always compare yourself with this. You can never compete. So the freedom of American art, and why this was such a revolution in the 60s, they were free to judge new. And the whole new movement, the pop art, the concept art, all was coming in America. And I was there in the 60s. I lived in New York. It was absolutely great. This is the end of my guided tour. What a treat. It's a surprise What a treat. Thank you. Enjoyed thoroughly. So don't believe in menage à trois. It doesn't work.
This is what we learned from you.
I have to show you. I just learned it. I just finished
Und ich fühlte mich plötzlich wichtig zu sagen, ich finde es kleinlich, wenn man gegen sowas ankämpft. Es gibt so ganz andere Prioritäten. Und deshalb habe ich das mit dem Krieg gesagt. Ne?
Ja.
Wenn du im Krieg groß bist, dann ist alles heute wunderbar.
Und hast ja auch gewonnen, weil du ja gesagt hast, dass die Amerikaner letztlich dann die moderne Kunst verstehen konnten und nicht darunter leiden, was die Meister hervorgebracht haben.
Immer diese pausenlose Vergleich mit den Meisterwerken, das ist ja so komplex.
Rauschenberg war hier.
Die ganze Frankfurter Schule
Ja.
hat sich hier getroffen und hier den Plot für nach der Nachkriegszeit ausgehandelt.
Genau.
Ne?
Ja, ja.
Wie werden wir Deutschland re-educaten? Ne?
Ja, ja.
Und die waren dann in Frankfurt wirksam. Unsere Studentenbewegung war eine Schreibtischbewegung. Im Gegensatz zur kalifornischen. Die kalifornische Hippie-Bewegung hat was bewegt, hat die Universitäten geändert, hat im Hinterland Land gehabt, hat etwas verwirklicht in der Community. Bei uns nicht, das waren alles Schreibtischsachen. Die hat kein Land, es war kein Land, wo sie die Ideen verwirklichen konnte. War das alles Schreibtisch. Und dann kam entsprechend die terroristischen Akte.
Ja,
Nicht? Das entstand aus diesem Nichtstun-Können, weil kein Land da war. Und hier verflüchtigte sich das in die Berge. Ich habe in Sausalito ein halbes Jahr gelebt, das war grandios, 67. Das war das. Diese Berge waren voller Hippies, die dann die neue Welt,
County.
ja, die neue Weltordnung diskutierten, aber liebevoll.
Ja, und das ist eigentlich ein sehr schönes Park und sehr ruhig.
Und sind die noch da?
Ja?
Ja.
Well, Jogananda ist noch.
Nein, natürlich nicht, aber ich meine, seine Schule.
Ja, das ist alles noch da. Und es ist auch für die Öffentlichkeit.
Oh ja.
Das wird so machen. Und
der das danach geleitet hat.
Und also es gibt keinen besseren Blick. Vielleicht nur
Ja, das ist natürlich sowas jetzt mal zu erleben.
Ja, ne? Was ist denn hier?
Aber es ist typisch. Ich sehe was völlig anderes heute hier als damals.
So, die hat das Ding ja weggeschmissen.